Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Oh, Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together, we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course,
Today, Brad, we're
Bob.
going to talk about the 10 best ways to safely choose and also get out of a recliner or chair after you've had stroke, maybe surgery or injury, or maybe you're just getting older and you're getting weaker.
Right.
So-
And you know, this is a situation both my parents are in, so I've become a little bit of an expert on this
That's
in the
right.
last couple of years.
And so have I. You know, this is something that we're thrown into this role, you know, that we're kind of in-betweeners. We're still taking care of children somewhat, and then we're also taking care of our adults, but our parents.
Right, right. Luckily, as therapists, we know the concepts of mechanics, to sit to stand, how to get stronger.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to keep in mind.
But
isn't
yeah,
there?
when you're actually looking for furniture to make sure it's the proper and the safe furniture you get, you want to make sure if you're going to spend $500, $1,000, or $1,500, you want to make sure it's going to be the right furniture.
It's going to do the thing, and there's a lot of pitfalls that you want to avoid, and we're going to help you do that. And by the way, Brad,
Yes.
you see people wander into our show.
Yes, they're coming in by the thousands.
By the way, if you are new to our show, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos on how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day. And also like us on Facebook. We're going to be giving away a ton of stuff. And also, Brad and I really like to be liked.
Yeah, a whole ton, huh?
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of
That's
a whole list.
2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
The big thing about getting out of the chair is, first of all, functionally, you need to get out of the chair to get around the house. But the transfer here, sit to stand, is one of the most common areas where there's going to be a fall.
Yeah.
And they're going to fall, break a hip, bump their head, whatever. So make sure we get things right. So first thing, if you're looking for a chair, it's the recliner. And we're going to talk a little bit about recliners, but also some basic chairs,
Chair
just like
issues,
Bob's
yeah.
sitting on here. First thing is, how high should the seat pan or the seat rest be, you can call it. And like Bob is right here.
And I'm a tall guy.
He is.
So you can see my knees are still a little bit higher than my hips,
Right,
which this is probably still acceptable.
right.
But what you don't want is when we're up like this, and a lot of times, you know, where I sink in so far, because then I'm going to have a really difficult time getting out of the chair.
Right, yeah, so if his bottom is so far and his knees are coming up in his chest.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, if I have a short person and their feet are dangling.
Right.
And we had that situation with my father, and we'll get into that a little more
Then you're
details.
getting cutoff pressure here.
Right, the
underneath
circulation down to the legs, and which is a big problem for a lot of people, older people. They have circulation problems.
And they start building up fluid in their legs then.
Right, if they got
So-
CHF and other, diabetes, those kind of situations, you really want to avoid that. So make sure their feet are flat on the ground, but yet the knees,
aren't way up like this.
right, we're not flexing the
Yeah.
hip too much.
Well, that's probably one of the most critical things, isn't it, Brad?
Right, that's
Yeah.
that's kind of the base. And actually, when I went
And
to
these do come in different heights, is what you're saying.
right,
Recliners.
right, when you go to the furniture store, take a tape measure. You know, if your parent or your loved one, friend, whoever it is sitting there, and like this would be a proper for me, I'm going to measure the height of this so we have an idea where we should be.
Oh, that's a good
Okay?
idea.
Oh yeah, and then the other thing is measure the width of the chair, because if you've got someone that's a larger person, you want to get them to fit in there, or if they're a smaller person, you don't want the chair too wide, because the width of the chair here, I just found out this last weekend, can vary from the ones I looked at, 20 inches to 24 inches.
And when they do, if you're a thinner person, you're going to lean like this, and that's going to put stress on your back.
Right.
You know, you want to be straight up and down. So
Exactly.
you want to make sure
Right.
you're right in between them.
Yep.
Not too hot, not too cold.
Exactly. And also, if it's too wide, you don't get a good push off.
Right. Good point. Yeah,
right.
you can't get their leverage.
Which, by the way, Bob, brings up another good point, is armrests.
Right.
You need some good, solid armrests. And some of these chairs, they'll have these fancy armrests that are rounded here. Get a good armrest that is square here so that when you push, it's up here. You're not reaching back here.
Ideally, the farther the armrest goes out, the better.
Right.
I've seen chairs actually that they've made for nursing homes where the armrest extends way out here. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you've seen those, Brad. And so when they get up, now they can really
Sure.
lean forward and get up.
And
Whereas if they're way back here, you do this type of thing where you can't get your weight forward.
Exactly, get that falling backwards. And there you go. That's another thing for people who are more able-bodied. They can start doing dips.
Oh,
It's a joke, Bob. It's a joke.
there's a dip in the room, I'll tell you that. All right, what's the next thing, Brad?
Okay. If you have a chair at home, let's say, like in my father's case, he broke his hip, he came home. His chair was working pretty good before. It was a little low, but he could still get out. But now
He can't.
he cannot get out. So options is, if the person has a nice new recliner, it's like, what are we going to do? We got a new recliner. Do we
Not
have
gonna
to go
buy
buy
a
a
new
new
one,
one
right.
just because they can't get out of it? Well, there's a few things you can try. If it's a temporary thing and the person, once they get strong enough, that likely won't need any adjustments, is a lot of people.
Oh, just a pillow.
You could just throw a pillow like this in. And if you raise that person up 1 inch, you'll be amazed at how much easier it is for them to stand up.
I've been shocked. We've had patients like that, like you said, that just the 1 inch makes the difference between being able to get up and not get up.
Right. It could be this multiple attempts to,
Yeah.
that's a lot easier.
Yep.
So the thing about these pillows is, because this is exactly what happened to my dad. I came over a week later, and his pillow,
Was pushed back there.
and he was sitting back in
And
the
then he
chair.
couldn't get up.
Yeah, and it's all jammed back in there. And I says, Dad, look at the pillow. He says, well, he really didn't notice it. He wasn't too concerned. He's watching C-SPAN. So if you get, like here we have a 2-inch firm foam cushion, and you could get these. This is actually from an old wheelchair cushion I've got, but if you get something like this out of an old piece of furniture, or you go to a furniture repair shop and they may sell you a 2-inch piece of firm where it's square, fits in there nice.
Yeah, you want it fairly firm because if you sink right in through it, it's not going to make any difference.
Yeah, if it's that
obviously.
foam that just goes
Right to the
It
bottom.
needs to be firm, push in, and it gives some spring, and it's more comfortable.
Again,
too.
I can see as soon as you're sitting there, Brad, you don't sink as much.
Yep.
I mean, you can see that
It feels better than the pillow. The pillow can work. If it's going to be a week or two and they're strong enough for a month, these are some of the options you can use.
Sure.
If it's a long-term thing where it's like they're going to need this elevated, and you don't want to buy a new chair for $1,000 or whatever it may be, and you're handy, or someone that's handy with woodworking, you build a platform and raise the whole chair up, which is exactly what we did
And we
for my
happen to
dad.
have one here.
Yeah. So we just took a piece of, we got chipboard here, but you can use plywood, would work great. And the big thing about this is you have to have a shoulder all the way around, because if it slides off and the chair tips off, well then,
Oh, sure. That
then
would
everyone
be,
tips
That
off.
would be disastrous, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if you don't have those, you literally should screw the feet down into the wood. But this works pretty darn good. So Bob and I, we're going to be strong like bull and lift this chair in. There we go.
Are we in?
Let me see if the frame is. Yes, it's in.
Wow.
And so now you can see you
Got
can
it
move
on
around.
first.
And everything is wonderful. And now look at my feet. Now they don't touch very good. So for me, this would be a little too high.
A hair. It's
Yeah.
not too bad.
Well, if I took my shoes off, then I probably would
Yeah.
be dangling.
If you tend to use it with the legs extended out all the time, though,
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd be as concerned.
Right. What happened with my dad is I made this for him, but it was 2 inches higher. This one we cut off.
2 inches higher than this.
Right, because it was
wow.
just because I didn't know. I just had to come up with something, and the width of a 2x4 plus a 1/2-inch plywood equals 4 inches. And I thought that'd work, and he would sit there and his feet would be dangling.
Yeah.
But he could get up really easy.
Yeah.
But it was a circulation problem, so then we trimmed this one down 2 inches. So that's how that
And
works.
these are very common in nursing homes. They have a
yeah.
lot of them.
Right.
And they tend to use them in their rooms.
Yep.
And
It's a lot. It's a lot. Then you have it for another chair or whatever,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
a lot cheaper than buying a new chair.
exactly.
So
good way to do that.
the
So like I
other
say, you got to be a little handy. So you want to go over the right way to get out of a chair?
right,
then?
and that can be a whole thing too. You may not even have to go through all this if the person, if your loved one or whatever is having problems getting out of the chair, and they're going like this, and they have their feet up in front like this, and they're trying to push up, and you get this multiple attempts, and that's not working. Well, what we say, the first step is get the feet in as far as you can, okay? The next step is,
Well, I would say the first step, Brad, is to get to
right,
the edge.
right.
Yeah.
You could do it one way or
Yeah.
another. Scoot the bottom forward, yeah, that
Right.
would be better, Bob. And then the feet under, so butt forward, feet under, and then the nose
Yep.
over your toes.
Yep.
This little bit of lean right here, once you do the first two moves, makes a big difference.
And then
on
using the
this.
arms.
Yep.
Because if I try to get up, if I try to get up without moving my nose forward,
Right.
I mean, it's very difficult.
Right.
And a lot of times people don't realize that when they're trying to help somebody, they get in front of them like this,
Ah.
and then the person can't lean forward,
Yeah.
so they can't get up. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, they can't get up. But if you get off to the side, and now you help them, they're able to lean forward and get
Right.
up.
Exactly.
So,
Okay. Now the big daddy. People sometimes jump to the conclusion, oh, we've got to get one of those electric lift chairs,
yeah.
which are really nice. And we actually did. Both my parents have them now. We just bought one for my dad 2 days ago. But we went through all these things first.
what a good son.
Yeah. Well, we
Our
shared.
Yeah, our only concern about lift chairs is that I can tell almost right away when I see somebody, when I do their testing of the muscles on them, that they have a lift chair because their muscles get weak from using it.
If they use the chair to get themselves up.
Right, if they put it all the way up.
Right.
They should only put it up as high as they need to still get up on their own.
Exactly.
Because you get strengthening from repetitive getting up out of a chair.
Actually, for people who are not familiar with a lift chair, it's a recliner. It looks just like a recliner, but you plug it into the wall, there's a cord, and there's a handle a little cord with a handset, and there's an up button and a down button. Some have heat and vibration, all those buttons.
Yeah.
But the basic one is up, and it just literally lifts you up to about this high, which makes it really easy to get up, and it also reclines back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Electrically.
Yeah,
It
it's all
reclines
electric,
back.
very
Power.
convenient.
Yeah.
The way my mother uses hers is she raises hers up to one spot and she doesn't touch the electric anymore. I said, Mom, I bought that so you can lift your feet up and elevate your legs. She says she does not want to wear out the electric motor. She's not going to use it. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. One day, actually, we were over there and I said, Mom, let's put their feet up. So we put her feet up electrically and she's like this sleeping. And then my wife and I went for a walk and we came back and it was evening and the chair's empty and the chair is still up. I said, where's Mom? She's not in her chair. She didn't put the chair down. Here she is in the bed sleeping. I have no idea how she got her legs around like this and got out of the chair, but she did.
She didn't want to wear out the electrical motor there.
Yeah. So we don't put it up anymore for her.
She knew what she's doing.
Yeah, she definitely knows what she's doing.
What's the cost on those, Brad? Electric chairs?
Where I looked, we were looking anywhere between $800 and $1,700.
So a lot of money.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, they're expensive, but the expensive ones have all the gadgets which have
Sure.
vibration, heat, things like that. Because if the person's a little confused, like I know for both my parents, up and down they get. But if they had, my dad would understand the buttons, but Mom, she wouldn't want them anyways. But up and down is good for most people.
Right, and it shows your mom too, though. I mean, even the down she didn't do. So I mean, you got to be careful if someone their cognition is not up to par.
And normally she would, but she was sleepy. She was
Sure.
thinking about getting back to bed, and it's like, well, here we are.
Right.
If you get one like this is a good example of a chair probably not to get because of the action if it's not the electric one. Because watch what happens when I pull this lever. It pops up kind of quickly.
Right.
It's
And
okay,
it's
but
difficult to get down.
right, yeah, because I got to have a lot of hamstring strength to get this down. And then also make sure you have something here so that someone can't get their leg in there, and that
Yeah.
would be a good place to fall. If you're trying to get up with that up, you put your foot through there, big problem. So overall, Bob,
You got to watch out for pets too, by the way.
well, yeah, you always got to watch
I
out
mean,
for
because
pets.
pets get caught under there. I'm serious. We almost had one.
Oh, really?
one time, yeah, that.
Your
didn't
cat?
notice- Yeah.
I suppose
wasn't
you were bummed
reminded.
about that.
Yeah. I don't have a love affair with cats. Sorry, well, cat lovers. But,
I'm going to take a nap, Bob. I'm in good shape.
all right, thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, good luck with your chair